It ain't but one guy. Hold on. There's one guy. We ain't but one guy. It ain't but one guy keeping him away from him. That's Terence Crawford. Hey, but one guy.
Everyone in the room picked you to win. Everyone that I asked. Everyone.
Except for me, guess what?
Because I heard he could really play.
No. He can't even be Shakur.
He can't fuck with me.
So, you.
What's Shakur lied to you?
You lost. I seen the videos.
You ain't seen my video.
Oh, I didn't.
Exactly.
I just seen the video.
Exactly.
Oh, what happened?
Exactly.
Now that you take care of business, how does you and Devin Haney in? How does that fight do?
Knockout.
Say this.
Devin Haney being at 147, he called Devin Haney out. What do you think about that fight if it's 1 or 2 fights away?
It's kind of a tough fight right now because Devin Haney is right back at the top of his game. Devin showed that the weight loss was probably causing him to not have as good punch resistance, and it also probably wasn't causing him to have as much power or explosiveness as he has. He showed tremendous power, tremendous punch resistance in that fight against Norman, and for him to do that means that the weight was probably an issue. Now, if Keyshawn comes up, or if they even do a catch weight, a 143, 144, it's going to be a very interesting fight because I think Devin has more tools and more IQ right now, but Keyshawn is different. So when you got a guy that's different, and that's why I also said...
Terence Crawford sends a warning to Devin Haney, backing Keyshawn Davis and predicting Haney could have serious trouble dealing with Davis's power, pressure, and nonstop aggression.
I said I guarantee you he'll beat you, though.
How you going to bet on somebody
I'm
else?
going to bet on him against you.
I will beat you.
No, you can't beat me, but I bet he beat you and I beat you.
Terence Crawford cautions Devin Haney, warning that boxing can humble anyone who takes an opponent lightly, especially someone like Keyshawn Davis, whose power and relentless hunger make him a serious threat.
Or chew you up and spit you out. You know, out with the old and with the new.
Ali, as y'all were asking questions, I think about Muhammad.
Keyshawn Davis stands firmly supported by Shakur Stevenson and Terence Crawford, who back him like family. Learning closely from Shakur, Davis continues to sharpen his craft, while Stevenson confidently declares that now is Keyshawn's moment to rise.
We kind of having our, that.
Yeah.
Nigga. Come on.
Yeah.
We getting past that, and that was your turn. And I'm not gonna allow and sit back and allow you to even waste that talent that you got. Cause I've been told, Key, for years, bro, you could be one of the best. All you gotta do is just, boom, discipline.
You know, with both of y'all being the best, they always gonna want it. And
They gotta come with it.
You know they always gonna want to see it, though. You know everybody always gonna want to see it.
We get to see it.
Keyshawn Davis confirms that talks are actively underway and assures fans that a blockbuster clash with Devin Haney is targeted for 2026, setting the stage for one of boxing's most anticipated showdowns.
Let's do it. You know, I know he's dealing with some legal issues. I don't know what happened. He said he had to turn himself in, but I believe he tweeted like, Keyshawn, let's do it.
He said that?
Yeah, but he tweeted like something like that. Yeah.
Well, you know, Bill was in my DMs. We already was talking about it, honestly, before he even hit the media. So I know it's going to happen in 2026.
And you're good going straight to Devin in your first fight at 47?
If it makes money, it makes sense.
Right. So obviously I want to get your take on your brother, Shakur, dominant performer.
Roy Jones Jr. praised Keyshawn Davis, pointing to the level of opposition he's faced and his exceptional speed, and called him a true rising star in boxing.
Competition. He's fought some elite guys. He's come up short, but he's always fought hard. He's never been stopped. I thought Keyshawn looked really, really good early on in that fight. He looked very poised. And Jermaine was fighting a fight that you typically don't see him fight. Jermaine is known for being very physical, very rough, and he's going to make it dirty if he has to. He was laying back, and it looked like he was allowing Keyshawn to take some ground and get established, but then Ortiz flipped the script and changed the game plan. He started to get into his normal bag of roughhousing and making things dirty. And I said, man, I like that. I was telling Shakur, I was in the locker room watching. I said, I like what he did right there because he went away, let you get comfortable. And then he said, no, here I am. I'm going to be the guy that you actually thought you was going to be fighting, but I'm not going to do it in the first round. You saw Keyshawn have to make some adjustments too.
Roy Jones Jr. advised Keyshawn Davis to take 1 or 2 more fights to sharpen his experience before stepping in with Devin Haney, believing that extra seasoning would better prepare him for a challenge of that magnitude.
You understand me? So when you gotta have that intangibleness about him, where he can be a different guy when it's time to be a different guy, you can never count him out. However, if I were pushing Keyshawn, I would have another fight or two before I fight Devin, just for experience purposes. And if I was Devin, I would try to jump on it right now before he gets those couple fights, because the more experience he gets, the harder he's gonna become to beat.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough fight, for Keyshawn Davis. And I think in many respects, Devin Haney too. You can't take Keyshawn Davis light. He can really fight. He's really like that. The weight difference is a concern, and it's a fair question. Is he ready now? Is he ready a fight or two from now? But that's the fight, really. If you really want to scream, I'm back. That's the type of fight that you want, because obviously it's in the Turkey Al-Sheikh universe, and that's a fight that's going to...
Greg Hackett shared his candid thoughts on a potential Keyshawn Davis versus Devin Haney showdown, stressing that boxing thrives on matchups like this. In his view, when elite fighters who understand each other's strengths and weaknesses collide, it raises the intensity and the stakes. Hackett pointed out that fans crave the best fighting the best, whether it's Haney versus Shakur Stevenson, Haney versus Teofimo Lopez, or now Davis versus Haney. He believes these are the kinds of fights that truly define greatness, separating top-tier competitors from the rest, since B-level and C-level opponents simply can't match the physical tools or mental sharpness required at the highest level.
We need fights like that is because there's things each one of them know about each other. They know that those are great fights. We need those fights. We need those fights. We need the Dev and Shakur. We need the Dev and Tio. We need the Africa and Shakur, the Africa and Tio. We need the Gary Antoine mixed in there. We need the Lamont Roach mixed in there. It's a lot of guys. The Abdullah Masons mixed in there. It's a lot of guys we need mixed in there. You know what I'm saying? These are the fights we need. Those other guys, the B-class, C-class guys, they can't keep up with them, either physically or mentally, or both together. They can't keep up with them. You see it.
What kind of message do you think Keyshawn, made it in possibly the 40 to 47 division, beating Jermaine Ortiz the way he did?
I mean, I don't know. 47 is a different division. That was at 140.
Hackett also weighed in on Davis's recent victory over Jermaine Ortiz, acknowledging that it was a strong statement at 140 pounds, but cautioning that a move to 147 presents an entirely different test. Even so, he doesn't see size as a major issue for Davis, noting that fighters often appear bigger on television than they actually are in person. For Hackett, the real concern isn't physical. It's about consistency and composure as Davis climbs into deeper waters. Can he stay disciplined, sharp, and mentally locked in against naturally bigger opponents? With Davis's talent, Olympic pedigree, and hunger to prove himself, Hackett believes he has the tools to hold his own. And in his eyes, a clash with Devin Haney would be exactly the kind of high-level, high-stakes showdown the sport needs right now.
Is he too small for 147? He looked good at 40.
No, I don't think he's too small. These guys only look real big on TV. When you see these guys in person, they don't be that big. You know what I'm saying? So he's not too small, no. The thing is, with Keyshawn, can he keep it together? Can he keep it together mentally? If he can keep it together mentally, then we see great fights out of Keyshawn. If he do that he say he been doing, which I don't know if he was lying or not, saying that he was drinking in camp and shit like that, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's a lie. I don't know if it's, if he was telling the truth. I don't know. But if he could keep it together mentally, then we see great fights out of Keyshawn.
Say Keyshawn Davis and Devin Haney happen next. Who would you favor?
It's tough to say.
An analyst recently shared his perspective on Keyshawn Davis's bold declaration that he's unbeatable from 140 to 147 pounds. Davis has made it clear that he wants a showdown with Devin Haney before setting his sights on a move to welterweight, a division many feel has lost some of its spark. The analyst pointed out that the 147-pound landscape currently lacks fresh, high-profile matchups. With established names like Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios, and others already committed to different paths, the division appears short on new, exciting clashes. As a result, it's in need of a fighter willing to shake things up and bring renewed energy. something Davis believes he can provide.
40 to 47. And he says he wants to fight Jermaine Ortiz and then move up to welterweight, which would be perfect because, like I told you, I really am the best in this business. Like, everything I say is like clockwork, right? It's amazing to me. Sometimes I amaze myself. So what am I talking about? I literally just said welterweight is dry. It's a stale, stagnant, horrible division right now. Not too many ways to mix and match the guys. And then the guys you could mix and match are pretty much busy. The Ryans, the Barrioses, and the Rollies, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. And I told you it's going to require, this is how it works in the sport of boxing. I know because I've been here.
The analyst explained that boxing thrives when fighters move up in weight, opening the door to new rivalries and opportunities. He cited examples like Jaron "Boots" Ennis, who left 147 for 154, generating excitement in that division with clashes against names like Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz, Jermall Charlo, and Errol Spence. He argued that the same approach could reinvigorate welterweight if rising stars such as Keyshawn Davis, Shakur Stevenson, and Gary Russell Jr. make the jump. For Davis, moving up wouldn't just challenge his skills against bigger opponents. It would also deliver the high-level, must-see matchups fans are eager for. According to the analyst, Davis's confidence and ambition could be exactly what the welterweight division needs to regain momentum and capture widespread attention.
Can't make 40 anymore, just like Jaron "Boots" Ennis couldn't make 47, and he moved up to 154. Now 54 is cracking. They got 54 out here cracking. Tons of names where you can mix and match the Fundoras, the Virgil Ortiz, Jermall Charlo, possibly Errol Spence, Murda Zailev, Boots, right? You got tons of ways you could mix and match these people. 47 right now is dry, so it's going to take Shakur's and the Keyshawns and Gary Antoine Russells or the El Rayos, you know, different Edwin De Los Santos, Matias, different guys to move up to start to purge and like fill out the division. Right now, it's not many options. Again, Devin versus Louis Crockpot is a terrible fight, and I don't know anyone that wants to see it.
Keyshawn Davis has officially announced that he will face Louis Crocker before taking on Devin Haney, despite initially calling out Haney immediately after his knockout victory over Jermaine Ortiz. This decision has sparked debate among fans and analysts, who note that Davis never mentioned Crocker in his post-fight interview, focusing solely on Haney. Now, with the Crocker fight confirmed, Davis says it's a strategic step designed to strengthen his position in negotiations with Haney.
Devin Haney. So, after you knocked out Jermaine Ortiz, let me get this straight. After you stopped Jermaine Ortiz, you made no mention of Louis Crocker. The first name you called out was Devin Haney, and the only name. Unless I missed the rest of the interview. And now, you saying you had a deal in place to fight Louis Crocker next. And then if it's worth your while, then you'll fight Devin Haney. Because, and I get it, he believes that he needs to get this belt from Louis Crocker for them to value him the way he wants to be valued.
The reasoning is straightforward. Crocker holds a belt that Davis believes will boost his value when the time comes to face Haney. Critics, however, argue that calling out Haney while already knowing Crocker was next creates confusion and sparks accusations of clout chasing. Many fans expected Davis to move directly into a showdown with Haney, but boxing politics often have other plans that be why securing a win over Crocker first. Davis not only strengthens his bargaining position, but also adds credibility to his pursuit of Haney. While some see this as a smart, calculated move, others view it as misleading. Regardless, Davis remains one of boxing's most talked about rising stars, and his path toward a fight with Haney continues to generate major anticipation.
Fight in negotiations with leverage with Devin Haney. I get it. So what's the point in calling out Devin Haney? Why didn't you tell the world I'm going to fight Louis Crocker next? because he knows it's not going to be acceptable. If he came out and he says, after Jermaine Ortiz, I'm fighting Louis Crocker, he knows that the fans ain't going to accept that. So he's saying Devin Haney multiple times because he understands what Devin Haney represents. This is what many people will call clout chasing. So you're using Devin Haney's name, but you know you have no intentions of fighting him next? Make this make sense. It all makes sense.
Floyd Schofield recently stirred conversation with his take on a potential Keyshawn Davis versus Devin Haney clash. While he acknowledged that both fighters bring excitement to the ring, Schofield made it clear he doesn't see Davis beating Haney. In his view, Haney's experience and maturity give him the advantage, especially after demonstrating a higher level of skill and composure in his most recent fight. Schofield also noted that Davis looked strong against Jermaine Ortiz, but he cautioned that Ortiz appeared hesitant and never fully imposed himself, which may have made Davis's performance seem more dominant than it truly was.
No matter which one go up there, Devin is Devin. Devin going to show up. It's going to be a great fight with either one of them. Because Devin took a loss, and he don't want to take another loss, whether he got it cleaned off his record or not. He don't want to take another fight,
though. I ain't gonna lie.
Both of them are good fight. Even I don't think Keyshawn is going to beat Devin. I really don't believe Keyshawn will beat Devin.
Too much experience? Why?
I don't know. I just don't see. But off my prediction yesterday, I'm not gonna get that because people will say things. But skill wise, I don't believe this new Devin that showed up his last fight. Keyshawn is gonna be able to run through like he did Ortiz, a smaller guy who seemed like he didn't want to be in there.
I ain't gonna lie, as much as I don't like Devin, I did not expect Devin to do that to no.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, and we'll see you next time.